whole Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity, is really, truly, and subsiding real creation may also age.
How can couples continue to grow in love and faith throughout their marriage?
Growing in faith, or that hobby, is not a priority.
Now, when our ideal,
Willing to prioritize it above others.
Starting at 6 Eastern on EWTN.
EWTN welcomes our new Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV. Habemus Papam.
Hello, family. It's so great to be here live from St. Peter's Square again with a wonderful team and a new special guests. I know that all of you remember Monsignor Landry, the National Director of the Pontifical Mission Societies USA, Dr. Matthew Bunson, our Editorial Director and Vice President of EWTN News, and Christoph Wimmer, the Europe and Asia Editor for EWTN News. And of course, I'm Pontificate has really set itself aside. If you later, but I do want to get your first initial impressions of how you feel that this new pontificate has really set itself aside, how the Holy Father is truly self-possessed. He's making up his own mind about things, and he's making that very clear. Monsignor Landry.
So I think the mathematician, he's ahead of almost all of the decisions that a true novice would confront. And so I've just been blown away by how well the Lord has prepared him for his new duty.
It's been very programmatic, as Monsignor has pointed out, but he's also very thematic. He is starting already to hit on the key themes that he thinks we need to hear about when he talked to us today, for the journalists. What did he do? He went back to the idea and the importance of...
A vibe shift's probably a bit too crass a word, but there's a really nice change in the mood. Whenever you get a new pontiff, of course, there is the exuberance, the excitement, the curiosity. But to then be welcomed in the way that we were welcomed today as journalists in the encounter, in the audience hall with the Pope, in the way that we were told that this isn't just a...
It was his first conclave, gave us his first impressions of having met the Pope and how he felt about him.
We all need to welcome, to protect, to promote and to integrate. So that's not going to change. I'm sure that Pope Leo is going to push that just as much as Pope Francis. But I think by choosing the name Pope Leo, I think he has signaled a difference in approach, which is that the issue of work, in a sense, embraces the issue of migration. It's the issue of work is even broader and deeper than the issue of migration. In fact, many...
Essentially saying is already anybody to fear as if they're coming from another planet called an alien. We're now beginning to see somebody who's going to be able to help increase, for example, our own economic.
Obis Deum, Hallelujah.
When is the last time we heard that sung? And how significant is it that he chose to do just that, to touch people's hearts?
Well, that's right. I would have to guess that we have not heard started to be a...
Oh.
See in these continuity with the expectations that Catholics have, you know, that...
But Christoph Walk, fabulous. Well, yes, I know you enjoy that as well. Well, let's show our audience and those listening on radio what we're going to show is that a breaking of the seal, because he is going back. He is confirmed to be going back into the Apostolic Palace. He would not be staying at the Casa Santa Marta. Let's take a look. So we have him walking in, and you'll see the seal in a second. But Christoph, walk us through this moment. Why is this so significant, the idea that he would make this choice?
Well, first of all, it's in continuity with the pontiffs and in continuity with the expectations that Catholics have. You know, that famous image that a lot of pilgrims have of the light being on over St. Peter's Square, Our Father is home, and of course praying with him, perhaps in future, I hope so, singing with him in Latin, the Regina Coeli, the Angelus, maybe other things. That is all part and parcel of this habitation. We have a continuity here that, of course, was accented by Pope Francis, and it was a sort of purposeful gesture of humility. But to have the continuity now is something I'm sure Pope Francis would also agree with. And it is something, as we can see in these pictures, that carries with it the whole history that he embodies, that he wears. A habitat is not just the habit of what you're carrying yourself, what you're dressing, but it's also how and where you live.
I think that's beautiful. It is deeply Catholic, and even more Catholic is the fact that I have heard, and we will confirm, that
Francis would talk about the disruptive presence of Pope Francis there in what was a guest house, all the extra security for everybody else who was living there. And when you actually added up how much it cost, it was more expensive.
Choose
now there are
the Holy Father's call for peace and the very specific aspects of how he responded to that.
let's
Be with you to the city of Rome, to the world. And I am sure it will remain an essential part of his pontificate, but not in the sense of a sociological aspect or, politics and law. I think
Peace, let's find dialogue and a solution. This is something that's really carrying like a red thread, moving.
you mentioned, Christoph, this idea of truth being central, of truth being something that allows us to make our own decisions, of family ourselves.
Of a journalist, he as an.
And you see, this is a pastor, but
To be there with
There, pastor.
Means through
room.
to his background, especially as an American. And I think that's the last piece that's important to note. We're really getting to know an American Pope and as well. And on Friday, he will be meeting with them to welcome them before he has that nice final celebration to just really put a perfect seal on this experience. Thank you so much for joining us. EWTN family, God bless you.